Welcome to Nation of Glory. Roman Reigns' name echoes across arenas, newsrooms, locker rooms, and living rooms with the weight of a legend whose era reshaped the very identity of WWE. His undisputed WWE Universal Championship reign wasn't just a storyline achievement, it became a cultural event, a multi-year phenomenon that stretched further than numbers could measure. For many fans, the reign represented dominance beyond championship gold. It represented a transformation of character, presence, and myth. Roman shifted from an athlete fighting for approval to an undeniable force who claimed acknowledgement, power, and legacy on his own terms. Long before the record books finalized his reign, people had already started calling it the greatest of the modern era. The dominance, the storytelling, the aura, nothing else matched it. His journey toward the undisputed WWE Universal Championship began years before he actually held it. The world saw Roman rise in the Shield, a unit that bulldozed its way into WWE and redefined faction warfare. Roman was the spearhead, literally and figuratively. He was the powerhouse, the silent destroyer, the man who ended matches with a single, devastating charge. But those early years, despite their success, came with shadows. The audience wasn't always behind him. The cheers were mixed. The reactions were loud but divided. Roman was a superstar with potential written in capital letters, yet the world struggled to decide whether to embrace him. Everything changed the moment he walked away to fight his own real-life battle, leukemia returning again. When he left, the world felt the absence. When he returned, the world felt something different. There was a renewed strength behind his victories, a deeper fire in his voice, and a transformation that was impossible to ignore. Soon afterward, Roman shifted into something no one saw coming. He returned aligned with Paul Heyman as a darker, more calculating, colder version of himself. This wasn't the smiling powerhouse chasing approval. This was the tribal chief. The head of the table. The man who claimed he didn't just want the top spot, he believed it already belonged to him. With this new identity came the chase for the Universal Championship. When Roman won it, the reign started with intensity, but no one expected it to stretch into a historic era that would reshape WWE. Match after match, challenger after challenger, Roman stood tall. His victories weren't flukes. They weren't escapes. They were the result of psychological warfare, physical dominance, and a strategic brilliance engineered with Heyman's guidance. The Usos joined in, forming the Bloodline, a faction so powerful it became the centerpiece of WWE storytelling. Roman wasn't just a champion. He was the leader of a family empire. As months turned into years, the reign became a storm that refused to settle. Stars like Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Edge, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and countless others attempted to dethrone him. Every challenger arrived with hope, strategy, or desperation, but every result ended with Roman standing over them, championship in hand, demanding acknowledgement. Fans didn't just anticipate his matches, they anticipated the next chapter of an ever-expanding saga. The tribal chief persona turned Roman into the most compelling and feared figure in modern wrestling. The unification of the WWE Championship and Universal Championship marked a new era. Roman became the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, a title that symbolized complete control of WWE's main event scene. Without needing weekly matches, Roman crafted an aura of exclusivity. His presence felt like an event. Every entrance felt like a statement. Every promo felt like a proclamation. He held the locker room, the company, and the audience in the palm of his hand. The Bloodline storylines grew with new betrayals, new alliances, and new tests of loyalty. Jey Uso's turmoil, Jimmy's conflict, Solo Sikoa's rise, Sami Zayn's unlikely bond, every storyline centered back to Roman, who played the role of king, father figure, dictator, and guardian with layered brilliance. His reign didn't rely on luck. It relied on psychology. Roman wrestled differently, as a champion who didn't need to rush, didn't need to prove anything through speed, and didn't need to please anyone. His style became deliberate, powerful, and suffocating. Every hold, every taunt, every smirk seemed calculated to break opponents mentally before beating them physically. Meanwhile, his character transformed again and again, more ruthless, more cunning, more aware of the throne he intended to protect at all costs. The run remained unstoppable. WWE built entire premium live events around his presence. The main event scene felt hollow without him. Rivalries spiraled into emotional masterpieces. The moment Sami Zayn turned on Roman ignited one of the loudest reactions in recent memory. The moment Cody Rhodes stepped into his story added a new layer of destiny versus dynasty. Fans could feel the weight of every confrontation. Roman wasn't just defending a championship, he was defending an identity that he believed was inherited, earned, and ordained. The aura of invincibility had never been stronger. Roman surpassed milestone after milestone. His name climbed the charts of the longest world title reigns in modern history. His dominance reached levels not seen since Hulk Hogan's golden era. Yet the difference between Roman and the champions of past eras was complexity. Roman wasn't a superhero. He wasn't a villain. He was both. He wasn't seeking approval. He demanded acknowledgement. He didn't win because of luck. He won because of mastery, emotional, physical, and strategic. Every time an opponent seemed to have him cornered, the tribal chief found a way out. Whether through bloodline involvement, psychological manipulation, or sheer resilience, Roman always controlled the narrative. Even the audience, swelling sometimes with cheers, sometimes with boos, stayed hooked. Watching Roman became an experience. His reign turned casual viewers into invested fans. Wrestling fans who hadn't been fully engaged in years found themselves pulled back in because the Bloodline saga felt like a television drama unfolding chapter by chapter. As WrestleMania XL approached, a sense of destiny simmered. Cody Rhodes returned not just as a challenger but as the man whose story felt like a long-awaited conclusion. Roman walked into WrestleMania with the confidence of a king who believed no one could dethrone him. The arena buzzed with anticipation. The match itself became the climax of years of emotional storytelling. Cody represented legacy unfinished. Roman represented legacy defended. Every minute of that match felt like history weaving itself in real time. When Roman Reigns finally lost the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania XL, the moment shook the WWE Universe. The end of the reign wasn't merely a defeat. It was the closing chapter of an era that defined modern wrestling. The world watched as Cody Rhodes completed his story, but the world also acknowledged what Roman had done. His reign changed everything. It elevated his status from superstar to immortal. It cemented him as one of the greatest champions to ever walk into a WWE ring. After losing the championship, Roman didn't disappear. Instead, his presence carried the weight of a man who had conquered the industry and now existed beyond the gold he once carried. Fans continued to chant, cheer, boo, and anticipate his every return. The era of the tribal chief wasn't over, it simply evolved into a new form. Roman stepped into a role where his legacy became a story of its own, independent of championships and records. His impact lived in every promo he delivered, every backstage appearance, every storyline he touched. Even without the championship, Roman remained the gravitational center of WWE. His alliances, conflicts, and reappearing influence shaped the direction of matches and narratives. Fans wondered if he would chase the title again, betray an ally, form a new version of the Bloodline, or carve a new path that didn't require championship gold to validate his position. Roman had already transcended the traditional role of a champion. He transformed into a mythic figure, one who didn't need a belt to command the main event spotlight. The aftershocks of his historic reign continued to influence WWE long after the loss. New champions were measured by his dominance. New challengers were compared to the men he defeated. The standard he set became a benchmark that many believed no one could surpass for decades. The title he held became more valuable because of the legacy he built around it. Fans didn't just remember the matches, they remembered the moments, the speeches, the betrayals, the unspoken emotions that stitched the saga of the Bloodline together. Roman Reigns' undisputed WWE Universal Championship reign will forever be remembered not for how long it lasted, but for how deeply it changed WWE. The reign reshaped characters, elevated stars, built careers, and created unforgettable storytelling. Roman didn't just hold a championship. He built a kingdom around it. And when that kingdom was eventually shaken, the foundations he laid remained unbreakable. Even today, fans debate where Roman stands among the greatest champions of all time. For many, he surpassed all modern champions in impact, presence, and storytelling. For others, he represents a once-in-a-generation performer whose era can only be described as a masterpiece of wrestling psychology. No matter the angle, the truth stands firm. Roman Reigns turned a championship reign into an era. An era that defined WWE's identity. An era that millions witnessed. An era that will be studied decades from now. His legacy as the tribal chief continues to live in every corner of WWE. Whether he returns to reclaim the throne or chooses a different path, the echoes of his reign follow him. Every challenger stepping into a title match knows the shadow of Roman Reigns still looms over the championship scene. Every storyline hints at the possibility of his return. Every crowd, no matter the city, erupts the moment his music hits. Roman's journey from powerhouse Shield enforcer to one of the greatest champions in WWE history stands as a testament to transformation, resilience, creativity, and dominance. He rewrote the rules of being a champion. He reshaped the way wrestling stories are told. He captured the world's attention and refused to let go. And even now, after the title has left his waist, the era he built refuses to fade. It lives on through fans, through memories, through future stars who learned from his example. Roman Reigns didn't just carry the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. He redefined what it meant to be undisputed. He didn't just lead the bloodline. He built a dynasty. He didn't just win matches. He commanded moments that remain etched in history. His story continues, even without the title. Because Roman's reign was never only about the gold, it was about proving he belonged at the very top of WWE, not by chance, but by destiny. And destiny, as the world has seen, is something Roman Reigns doesn't negotiate with. He claims it. This is the legacy of Roman Reigns' long historic reign as undisputed WWE Universal Champion. A reign that shaped a generation, created unforgettable moments, and built an era that may never be duplicated. His journey remains alive in every discussion about greatness, dominance, storytelling, and the power of evolution inside a wrestling ring. Roman stands today as a legend whose shadow is as large as his accomplishments, whose influence remains inescapable, and whose era will be remembered as one of the most iconic in WWE history. The tribal chief remains acknowledged, remembered, and respected far beyond the end of his title run. And the world continues to watch, waiting for the next chapter of Roman Reigns, knowing that whatever comes next will once again shift the landscape. Follow, subscribe, and like.